Hello. A very warm good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to start today's roadshow on the theme Smart Ports. I request Chairman Sir, Deputy Chairman Sir, and the panelists to kindly come upon the dais, please. Yes, sir. Yes. On behalf of Deendayal Port Authority, I, Jigar Thakkar, extend a very warm welcome to all of you present today for the event Roadshow on the theme Smart Ports, India's uh, gateways to prosperity. Today, ports are not only business hubs, they are connecting people, creating jobs, and driving nation's growth story. We are indeed privileged to have distinguished dignitaries on the stage who are driving the nation's growth story today. So let's take a moment to felicitate them. First, I would request respected Deputy Chairman Sir to kindly felicitate Chairman Sir. I would request Deputy Conservator Shri Pradeep Mohanty Sir. Deputy Conservator Pradeep Mohanty Sir to kindly felicitate our Deputy Chairman Sir. I would request Chief Engineer Ravindra Reddy Sir to felicitate Suresh Joseph Sir. I would request FANCAO Anand Chodnekar Sir to kindly felicitate Captain Prabodh Bande. I would request Secretary YK Singh Sir to kindly felicitate Mr. Clint Carmichael Sir. I would request CME in charge Kumar Rajdev Sir to kindly felicitate Sujal Shah Sir. I would request Senior DTM Sudipta Banerjee Sir to kindly felicitate Rahul Modi Sir. Moving on, now it's my honor to invite our visionary chairman Sushil Kumar Singh Sir to kindly address us on today's occasion.
A very good morning to all of you. I welcome esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, our partners from the industry, our friends from port user community, the supply chain community, the logistics community, students, faculty members, friends from press and media, and I also welcome VC and CEO Gujarat Maritime Board. He was supposed to be here to deliver the keynote address, but because of some last minute compulsions, he could not make it. We have requested him to deliver his keynote virtually on VC through VC, and he has accepted our request, and I am hopeful that he will be joining us and delivering his keynote during the course of the session today. I welcome you all to this gathering, the roadshow as we call it. We are all here, and we are connected with the maritime sector in some way or the other. And there is an event which is coming up at Mumbai, the India Maritime event, as you must be knowing. The scale at which this event has been planned, much bigger than the GMIS of 2023, the Global Maritime India Summit that was organized in 2023 at Mumbai. It is much bigger than that, and the scale at which it is being planned makes it one of the biggest maritime event in the world. I'm using this platform to share the information about this event with a request to all of you to participate in the event, use the opportunity that is provided by that platform, the India Maritime Week platform, to showcase your systems, your technologies, your business models, and use it as a platform for business networking. Maritime sector, as you all know, plays a very important role in the economic growth and development of any country, and the same holds true for India also. Under the visionary and dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, the Indian maritime sector is witnessing a unprecedented transformation phase, where all the subsectors or all the verticals of the maritime ecosystem, be it ports, be it shipping, be it waterways, be it shipbuilding, are seeing a remarkable growth, and the numbers for the last 10 years are there to speak for themselves. Talk of ports, the capacity of the ports has almost doubled in the last 10 years. Look at the operational KPIs of the ports, and you will find that the turnaround time, the dwell time, and the other performance indicators of the ports, Indian ports, are now comparable with the best in the world. And in fact, they are better than most of the developed nations. So the progress has been tremendous on all the fronts, which indicate that we have been able to adapt to the evolving ecosystem, incorporate new systems, new technologies, improve energy efficiency, improve operational efficiency, and in the process, improve the ease of doing business, bring down the cost of logistics, and make our business model competitive and at par with the best of the business models in the world. A lot of policy reforms have been implemented for the maritime sector in the last 10 years during the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister. And I'd like to share a recent development in this regard, which will prove that the kind of thrust and the focus that this government, headed by our Honorable Prime Minister, has on maritime sector. In the month of September, that is last month, a comprehensive package with a corpus of about more than 69,700 crores has been approved by the Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister. Four pillar approach has been adopted while approving this package, and the four different segments of this package include: one is the extension of the existing shipbuilding financial assistance policy with a corpus of more than 24,000 crores till March of 2036. The idea is to incentivize shipbuilding in the country to increase the capacity and capability of shipbuilding in the country. The other vertical, or the pillar as we call it, is an approval of Maritime Development Fund with a corpus of around 25,000 crores. And there the idea is to provide long-term financing to the shipbuilding sector, to bring down the cost of the capital for the shipbuilders, to compensate them for the kind of disadvantage that they face when they are planning to set up the shipbuilding facility in the country, in India, as compared to the other nations. So long-term financing is one of the focus areas of this government, and that is one of the pillars of this comprehensive package that has been approved by the Union Cabinet under the guidance and leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister. Similarly, the schemes have been approved for promoting greenfield and brownfield shipbuilding facilities in the country. Then strengthening of the reforms, the policies, the taxation rules for the maritime sector, they have all been covered under the comprehensive package. And once this package is implemented, it is likely to attract investment to the tune of about 4.5 lakh crores in the maritime sector in the country. It's also projected that this scheme or this package will create around 30 lakh jobs for the youth and the professionals of this country in the maritime sector itself. This apart, the other focus area of our Honorable Prime Minister and this government has been the vision of net zero by 2070. So all the sectors of the economy in the country are taking steps, are making efforts to cut down on their emissions, cut down on their carbon footprint, and contribute to the country's efforts, a whole of government approach in minimizing and reducing the carbon intensity of the economy of this country to achieve the Prime Minister's vision of net zero by 2070. In fact, for maritime sector, the net zero is to be achieved by 2050 as per the IMO stipulations or IMO's targets, objectives. I am happy to share that day before yesterday, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, has issued a communication wherein Kandla Port, DPA, has been recognized as one of the green hydrogen hubs under the National Green Hydrogen Mission. This was long due. We had been taking initiatives, we had been implementing pilots for the last 1 year without waiting for this approval to take a first mover position in this field, in the sector, in the maritime sector, in the port sector, with regard to greening and production of green molecules, handling, storage, bunkering of green molecules. But now we have been officially recognized by the government of India as one of the green hydrogen hubs in the country. And this will further enhance and give us more impetus to take up these projects at a much faster speed and improve on the delivery on these green hydrogen projects or green ammonia projects or decarbonization projects as we call it. So lot of things are happening in the maritime sector. This is one of the most happening sectors as of today in India, in country. And India Maritime Week, the event that we are talking about, which is coming up in Mumbai, provides a very good opportunity because it brings together the policy makers, the regulators, the technology developers, the innovators, the financing institutions, the ship operators. So it brings together all stakeholders at one place, and they stay together in Mumbai for around 3 days. They get themselves, they get that advantage of networking, they interact, they deliberate, they discuss. There are many, breakout sessions that have been planned under the conference on various themes. country sessions, there will be state sessions, there will be sessions on decarbonization, sessions on green corridors, sessions on new technologies, navigational, what you call safety, the sessions on how to reduce the what you call litter, the marine litter, as you call it, the waste and scrap generation.
Is tremendous. For that, we have to think, start, and execute from now itself. From in Gujarat Maritime Board, and if specifically if I talk about the Gujarat sector of maritime sector, then we are working to achieve all these targets by 2047. For that, we have made a detailed vision plan. Our vision plan is in terms of 5 pillars. One is we are increasing our capacity to 3,000 million metric ton. Second is we are revising our policies. Almost 17 policies we are revising. Almost 10 are already prepared and they are in different stages of approvals. Then we are working on 2 important sectors of this maritime ecosystem. One is ship recycling. Alang, Gujarat is already leader in the world. Now we are doubling the capacity of ship recycling. Let me tell you that ship recycling is a very, very bright future. And as per an estimate, international agencies estimated that in the coming 10 years, there will be around 15 to 20,000 ships that will come for recycling. No place in the world can handle that kind of, ship flow for recycling. So we have already started on doubling our capacity at Alang. There also we are using latest technologies, how we can environmental friendly technologies. So ship recycling is a very important area that we are targeting. Shipbuilding, again, is a very, very important area. And we have already identified 2 shipbuilding clusters. We have signed an MOU with Government of India. They are funding. And there's a huge focus on shipbuilding. We are also announcing during this Maritime Week our new policy. And let me tell you that we have come up with lot of incentives for this sector, because shipbuilding sector is one which require initial handholding. Without government support, this sector cannot grow. So whatever Government of India is giving, we will add on that and we'll give additional benefits in terms of financial benefits, other benefits, so that this sector can actually really pick up. Once this reaches the critical level, then it can self-sustain. But initially, we have to give support to this sector, and that's why we have planned 2 big mega shipbuilding clusters. One is in Kutch and one is in Porbandar, and we are working on that. So that is another very important aspect. Third and fourth aspects are related to soft services. Let me tell you, when we develop this ecosystem, we will require talented and well-equipped manpower to handle our ports, to handle all these things. For that, we are working on upgrading the courses in our Gujarat Maritime University. We are in tie-up with IIT Gandhinagar. They are starting a center of excellence where they will provide new courses, the courses which will require the latest technological interventions like AI, use of AI, smart ports, green fuel, green shipping, shipbuilding, drawing, etc. So they are coming up with almost 28 different kind of courses, IIT Gandhinagar. And at Gujarat Maritime University also, we are working on how we can integrate new courses which can provide the kind of manpower that will be required for this sector. So that is very important. And the last one is the financing, because this sector, without financing, nothing can happen in this sector. And for that, already at Gift City, the ship leasing, ship financing services have already started. Government of India has come up with its own fund, which will support the financing of this sector. So, friends, we are working on the entire ecosystem for growth of this sector. And let me tell you, the multiplier factor of this sector is tremendous. It's almost 8 to 10 times. If we invest 100 rupee, it will give in the economy 10 times, 8,000, 1,000 will become the output in the economy. So if some state or country has to grow, they have to focus on maritime sector. So with these words, I thank the organizers, I thank KPT, and let us all come and join in Bombay during the Maritime Week, where all the stakeholders, all the players will be there, and let us make this event a grand success. And let us grow this sector for the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister to make our country a developed nation by 2047 and be the leader in the world. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benival sir, for inspiring us with your words and sharing your maritime vision. Now, moving on, we have a thought-provoking panel discussion. We have a panel of eminent experts to enrich us today. So let me take this opportunity to introduce all the panel members individually and call them on the stage. As moderator, we have our Deputy Chairman, Shri Nilabra Das Gupta. Sir is an 2008 batch IRS. He has joined Deendayal Port as Deputy Chairman from 1st of July 2025, prior to which he was working as Deputy Chairman of Paradeep Port Trust. Sir has a degree in Master in Linguistics from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and he also holds degree of LLB and LLM from Gujarat University. We welcome you, sir. We are privileged to have you as the moderator. Next on our panel, we have Rahul Modi, sir, a member of the National Shipping Board. Sir is Managing Director of Pushpak Logistics Limited and Modi Minerals Group. Sir is Founder President of Coastal Container Transporters Association, a key contributor to India's coastal and multimodal logistic development. Sir is also recipient of prestigious awards, including the Coastal Man Award and Leaps Award from the Government of India. We welcome you, sir. Next on our panel, we have Sujal Shah, sir, CEO, Mundra and Tuna Ports. Sir has 25 years of experience in port and logistics. He leads modernization and green initiatives at Mundra and Tuna Ports, India's largest commercial port. He is leader known for his focus on innovation. We welcome you, sir. Next on our panel, we have Suresh Joseph, sir, Vice President, Projects, DP World, India. Sir is a former Indian Railway Traffic Service Officer with over 40 years of experience. He led the Vellarpadam International Transshipment Terminal, and now he leads the Tuna Tekra Container Terminal project at Deendayal Port. He is also an author, explorer, and holder of multiple world diving records. We welcome you, sir. Next, we have Mr. Clint Carmichael, COO APM Terminals Pipavav. Sir has nearly 30 years of global experience in port and logistics. He is former CEO of Suez Canal Automotive Terminal in Egypt, where he helped establish the nation's first dedicated Ro-Ro terminal. Sir has also served as Executive Director of NYK Auto Logistics India. We welcome you, sir. Next, we have Professor Captain Prabodh Bande from Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune. Sir has over 26 years of experience in ship handling and port operation. He has worked on berth design, navigation safety, and ISO procedure. He is a respected trainer and a maritime safety specialist. We welcome you, sir. Together, these experts represent excellence and innovation in the maritime sector. I now request Deputy Chairman Shri Nilabra Das Gupta, sir, to kindly initiate the discussion.
Thank you, Jigar. Good morning. Today, we have already had a beautiful setting of the context when our chairman, Shri S.K. Singh sir, has delivered his welcome address. And then we had a further expansion of the themes that we are looking forward to have a brainstorming on and gather food for thought when our keynote speaker, Shri Benival sir, further dwelled on the issues. So it makes my task as the moderator a little easier to move from this to our esteemed panelists that I have on the stage. The theme, the topic that we have chosen for this panel discussion is smart ports. And as we all know, that is the only way forward to account for or to accommodate the pace of growth and the attendant required enablers that will be required to go to a Viksit Bharat. I am indeed fortunate to have as my panelists almost all areas ticked. So I have people who are running ports, operational experts. I have members who have been in the government, that is in the policy framework. And I also have representatives from the academia. So without any further ado, let us dive right in. And I hope that after the panelists have given us enough food for thought, have shared their views, The audience will also participate. The structure for today's panel discussion is we will go through each of our speakers. I'll request the speakers to take about 5 to 7 minutes to discuss on the issues. And then once we finish the round, if time permits, we'll go for a small concluding remark by each. And then I'll throw out the house to the audience for a small, brief open house where we will probably be able to take a few questions. We will conclude the session with a concluding remark on the theme of the day. So to begin with, let me dive right in and involve a person who has been at the helm of the largest and one of the largest ports of India. Sujal Bhai is the CEO of Mundra Port. And as we all know that it is one of the largest ports, which is right at the forefront of traffic, of all kind of port operations and the initiatives, attendant initiatives therein. So to begin and to introduce us to the ideas of how we are defining the smart port landscape, let me request Sujal Bhai to deal on automation and digitalization, which are two of the most important pillars of conceptualizing smart ports, and share his views with us.
It works. Yeah. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Singh sir, esteemed panelists. Like every industry, port industry is not that simple. Usually every industry, if it's in a production atmosphere, majority of the in and out are only limited within the premises of the walls of the company. Here, the port is a gateway. Port is a gateway where there are multiple stakeholder, multiple regulatory needs, multiple stake of checks and balances, which are for the trade, for the country, and often for the efficiency of an operation that requires to be totally dealt with. Typical port operation, as Beniwal sir was also saying, Singh Saab also made an opening remark about digitization and use of AI. I think the data in what is coming by a vessel, what is coming by ship, has possibility of a multitudes of stacks of data. And those data are not always aligned and organized the way you would like to consume. And they are pretty random with the speed of the vessel, with the kind of a exchange happening on a previous port, with the kind of an online request for specific treatment of a cargo at a receiving port. These are all variables which are there to play. This data are the fertile ground to use an AI by using the pattern. I mean, I would just take 2 minutes to explain the customs facilities, what we have today, vis-a-vis what we had 20 years ago. And you can all appreciate, being a fellow members of the same trade, that there's a big amount of a simplification of a policies, procedures, and faceless digital handling of an approvals have happened. Is it all what we can do? I don't think so. Are there many more to do? Definitely think there are still lots of an area where we can do better. We are in a close contact with our custom board for further automating, further talking to our system directly to the custom systems, and removing this paper trail requirement with a complete audit trail, with a complete transparency, and with a complete identification of who did what and why and when. So it is 100% auditable trail. This is happening in the realm of automation, or I would say digitization in data handling. When you come to a gate, I think the trade comes to a gate for a definite transaction requirement for a cargo. The moment we are able to give them what is available or what is the slot right for them to come and go, it makes it easy for even the trade. So as we speak, Mundra Port has just recently launched an integrated transport utility platform where even from my CFSs, the moment they sell the container and they declare this is good to go, are appearing in our system. And then it creates an automated choice for a CFS even to allocate trucks for leading it to the port, or the vis-a-vis the other way. The containers which are available at the port are visible to them. So they know the number, they know the status of those containers to be picked up. With this, I think we all understand, Benival sir also stressed heavily. I think Singh Sab also meant it very clearly that it is important to manage the conduit. It is important to manage the traffic. This is the one of the biggest thing where we should put data and analytics to work on. Currently, as we speak, we are trying to show up the data to our all friends in CFS about their usage of the common roads on 2-hourly basis. And we are giving them chances that these are the green corridors available. Essentially, green corridors are basically the lull time when the traffic is actually not much and can be utilized for you. This is purely a data backed up initiative that is coming to each and every CFS members to play. When we come to an inside port, it is very easy to automate liquid section, which is essentially a pipeline commodity going. The complexity of a container or a dry bulk, which is there, there are enough tools available today to start tracking each and every asset, each and every cargo from a place to the next place, and then start appearing in an automated ERP solutions. It could be port-based system, it could be an ERP in our fellow trade partners company, and there can be a plug available for them to have an online approvals, an online checking of or reconciling the cargo. This is the one of the biggest change one can get it. There are issues related to handling of a cargo or trans-handling of a cargo within the port premise. I think we still need to do a little unlock on it. It is something which is not very difficult to do it. We should be really doing it for at least a transparency to the trade and transparency to the transporters who are trying to manage the cargo from a place to another place. At Mundra, I think what I can comfortably say is all the cranes, all the handling equipment, including I have got more than 230 trucks and a lot of reach stackers, a lot of empty handlers, all are electrified. So as Sir's vision, which is transcending from the Prime Minister's vision of a green port, we are in that direction as we speak. I'm signing some bid for another 400 more trucks, which are going to be in electric trucks only. Our power to Adani Port Mundra is currently hovering around 32 to 33% of a green source, which within a year will be 100% green. So we'll be following your footsteps, sir, on a 100% green transition. This is easily possible for company like us or maybe any other who wants to really work on renewable platform or getting a plug from a renewable circuit. Again, this is also an interesting automation and digital initiative when all the grids are connected in a common area and you are able to slice the choice of a power out of the same grid and get an advantage on a renewable sector. I think container operations are fairly automated in majority of the port, which even Benival sir was saying about Rotterdam and Singapore. So we are all in the similar range. I think I can just tell you that our rail handling is a next level of an automation which nowhere is there. The kind of a fan configuration which we have it at Mundra, I think we don't have anything happening anywhere close in anywhere in the world. So we pride to be an Indian port doing this complex operation in a fully digitized manner, and we are still looking at areas to improve efficiency, improve turnaround, and we will continue to harp on every opportunity available to squeeze the efficiency. On a side note, I was just talking to Clint, and very happy to note the fellow port of Pipavav has gained 20% efficiency on focusing on initiatives on improving the business. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujal Bhai. I think one of the most important threads that emerged from what Sujal Bhai spoke about is the very essential part that data plays in conceptualizing what we would call smart ports, where we are at and where we would move forward. It is about utilizing, exploiting that data, and unlocking the potential that is there on the data. Sujal Bhai also briefly dealt on the effect, the potential, the opportunities that can be unlocked by utilizing that data for infrastructure assets, for even port operations on the land side, where we can have smart stackyard management, and also on the logistics side, where we can handle the fleet, be it railway or truck or any other mobility option, in a much better way. Now, that brings us to an exciting part of it. The land side has been dealt by Sujal Bhai. Now, in ports, the most important part of a port is the seaside. That is, a port is a point of entry or exit or a call for vessels. Now, I have with me as my co-panelist Rahul Bhai, who apart from being an entrepreneur, is also member National Shipping Board. So let me now invite Rahul Bhai to briefly dwell on how the changing landscape of technology intervention, AI, is impacting the shipping as we understand today, and how this landscape is going to develop in enabling navigation and making it more smart and more efficient.
Hello. Thank you, sir. My voice is not clear because I have some infection on the throat. So sorry for that. Good morning to Chairman sir and Deputy Chairman sir. First, I would like to congratulate Chairman sir, Deputy Chairman sir, and whole DPA team that they recognize as a green hydrogen hub. Here I have to play a two role. One is from the ministry side and one is from the entrepreneur side. So one is from the ministry side. As a minister, it is my duty to all of you to invite for the Indian Maritime Week. मैं आपको हिंदी में कुछ बोलना चाहूँगा. पहले के ज़माने में राजा सोम यज्ञ करते थे. सोम यज्ञ इसके लिए होता था कि वो विजयी रहे और आजू बाजू में से सब लोग को इनवाइट करते हैं. तो ये इंडिया मैरीटाइम वीक जो 27 से लेके 31 अक्टूबर तक होने जा रहा है, वो एक हमारा इंडियन मैरीटाइम युग का एक सोम यज्ञ है. और उसमें मुझे लगता है कि हम लोग को सबको मैक्सिमम जितने लोग जहाँ से, जैसे आप कंपनी के ऑनर्स हैं तो आप अपने मतलब जो भी आप अपने एम्प्लॉइज़ हैं उनको भी भेजिए, उनको भी देखिए, और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा गुजरात का, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कंडला का कंट्रीब्यूशन इसमें रहे. ये मेरी एक ड्यूटी भी बनती है आपको शेयर करना, और मेरी फ़र्ज भी है कि मैं कांडला की ओर से जाऊँ. तो ये एक मेरा आप लोग से सबसे एक निवेदन है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पार्टिसिपेंट आप इंडियन मैरीटाइम वीक में करिए. और जब आप रजिस्ट्रेशन करते हैं तो कांडला पोर्ट को उसमें आप क्लिक करिए और कांडला पोर्ट का एक वहाँ पे एक वर्चस्व दिखाइए. ओके, नाउ एज दास सर हैज आस्क्ड मी द क्वेश्चन, एज अ NSB व्हेन वी टेकन अ चार्ज वी वर्क ऑन दैट स्मार्ट पोर्ट immediately. Smart port and smart making. So first we had taken this time, Das sir, is the issues of our seafarers, how we have to conclude in the smart port. So we started the meeting with the FRRO, and we just seafarer is one of the part of the shipping, and for how to connect them with the AI, how to connect them with the digital platform, we have a 2-3 meeting with the MHA, and we want to migrate if they have to go for out for sick leaves or anything for. So they are getting so many issues. So this is the first step NSB has taken to discussing with the MHA and the ports, where Kandla Port has also supported that we are working on to make it smart ports. Now coming to as an entrepreneur of the coastal trade, I'm working in the coastal trade from last 25 years. Shipping is the backbone of the global trade, but now shipping is carrying intelligence. If I have to give the speech to you, I will also speak from the AI. So what is the ports? Ports are the bridge between the sailor and the buyer. In very simple language, if there is a cargo, there is a port, there is a ship. So our sailors are smart, our buyers are smart, they are using AI. We have to compulsion. It is a compulsion for us to use the AI. So we cannot say that we will not accept any AI or smart or digitalization, then our cargo will say. As three major ports operators are here and the Kandla Port Authority is here. So I think that they will put more light on that. But I think that also I would like to add one point on the Swadeshi, because I am from the coastal trade. Swadeshi is only and only हो सकता है जब कोस्टल और इनलैंड वाटरवेज मिले, क्योंकि स्वदेशी में जाना है। और मुझे बताते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि कांडला पोर्ट इज हैंडलिंग अ मेजर मेजर शेयर ऑफ इंडियन कोस्टल कार्गो फ्रॉम कांडला पोर्ट, और लास्ट 6 महीने में ये हमने काफ़ी कुछ ग्रोथ देखा और अगले 6 महीने में और ग्रोथ देखेंगे, बिकॉज अदानी इज कमिंग इधर इज विद कोस्टल, सो वी विल सी। एआई जो है, एआई इज अ रियल टाइम वेसल टेकिंग। मैंने अभी जो देखा है जो एआई में रियल टाइम वेसल टेकिंग है और मोनिटाइजिंग ऑफ कार्गो, मैंने कुछ पोर्टों में देखा है, शायद मुंद्रा में भी आपके पास है मोनिटाइजिंग ऑफ कार्गो, क्या कहाँ कार्गो यू आर यूजिंग है। दिस इज द वन ऑफ द थिंग विच आवर कस्टमर्स रिक्वायर्ड। आवर कस्टमर्स require daily update about their cargo positions. So we have to update with the AI system. We have to update our customers as a ports, as a freight forwarders, as a shipping line. That how we connect our customer and customer get that idea that their cargo is at Mundra port at that location. It will ship to this ship and it will reach to POD on that time. So smart ports, smart ships and smart decisions. These three things are must for the AI. जैसे अभी भावनगर में सर ने बोला कि चिप्स एंड सिप्स, तो बोथ आर सेम। तो जैसे चिप्स इज द इन्वेंशन फॉर द एआई, सो सेम वी हैव टू मेक सम इन्वेंशन इन द एज अ स्मार्ट डिजिटल एआई एंड स्मार्ट पोर्ट्स। Artificial intelligence today, which we find that it will give real-time vessel taking, route optimization. Route optimization is also we can find through the AI. So which route we can go for a better logistic cost. This is also we can done with the AI, and that's why port has to provide. If I have one Morbi customer and Morbi customer has to shift their cargo to Cochin, so they know that this is the good way. But if they have to shift the cargo to Paradip, they are not much aware. So port has to provide some AI for the our customers or the stakeholders. That if customers comes and ask ports that I have to move my cargo to Paradip, how I will move, that's the AI come. That's the a digital platforms will come, and port has to develop this type of softwares or this type of digitalization for that. Adding to this, the future is very clear. As I think that future is very clear. AI is the compass. As I earlier said, that what I am discussing is something from the AI. If you all have here sitting, if I will ask you anything, you will go with AI and you will give me the quick question answer. Now it is a very common thing. It is a very common thing. So AI is a very common thing, and we have to go with 3. So we have to think that this is not a challenge. AI is not a challenge. AI is our opportunity to make our Indian shipping smarter, greener, and globally. Because this is the Amrit Kal. This is the Maritime Amrit Kal, and our goal is very simple. We have to navigate smarter as per our PM vision, as per our Ministry of Ports and Shipping vision. We have to go very smarter, and we have to navigate smarter. So I will not discuss much about, because it is not my core subject, Ports AI, but here all of the other panelists are. So we'll listen from them. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul Bhai. I think Rahul Bhai was being very modest about his voice. He had a good Garba season, and that can be seen from the voice that we heard today. He has touched upon very important points. The point that we often miss, that while we think of unlocking opportunities on the operations side, on the infrastructure side, on the traffic side and logistics side, the seafarers are one of the most important cog in the wheel, wherein unlocking benefits through utilization of data and enabling them to also utilize and take benefit from big data analytics is going to help the overall ecosystem. So if we have smarter, more efficient seafarers, it will have a cascading effect on making our port operations more efficient, and at least take the 2 most important verticals of any ease of doing business metric, which is will make our operations faster and will also reduce the compliance burden or the compliance vagueness that is one of the major impediments in giving ease of doing business. He has also touched upon the importance of Swadeshi, the importance of Atmanirbharta. We have recently seen the geopolitical headwinds that we have faced all across the world. And the one abiding pattern that has emerged from it is that if India has to become smarter, if we have to look to introduce smart initiatives in our maritime ecosystem, the way forward is through Atmanirbharta. Of course, there will be collaborations, there will be cooperation with our partner nations, but the way forward will be to increase innovation, research and development, for which necessary steps are also afoot. Now, one of the most important components of conceptualizing a smart port, apart from automation and digitalization and AI that Rahul Bhai and Sujal Bhai have briefly dwelt upon, is the life cycle of becoming smart. So we start with mechanization, then we reach a level of automation. When we reach the level of automation, it starts generating a lot of data. Now that data needs to be captured. And one of the important verticals of being smart or the smart ecosystem is harnessing the benefits in Internet of Things. So how we capture those data points. And once we capture the data points, it generates to a huge universe of data that has to be then worked upon through data analytics. My next speaker is also an expert on the operations side and has a very long experience of handling operations as well as smart initiatives. So next I'll move to Clint to illuminate us on smart ports and sustainability. How do we unlock value through harnessing Internet of Things as well as data analytics options that we have today? What are the initiatives that he thinks are afoot, and where does he think the landscape is leading to? Clint.
Hello. Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd just like to say that I feel very honored to be amongst such a distinguished panel, so thank you very much for inviting me. And then the second thing I just want to say is that what an exciting time to be in India. I think with the maritime initiatives that are happening, the way India is growing in terms of the economy, fantastic opportunity to be in India. I was in India in 2017 and I traveled from Ahmedabad to Pipavav port and it took me 8 hours. Today, 4.5 hours. And there's still room for improvement because the full highway hasn't opened up yet. So I think that's a testament to India's vision, and they're definitely taking focus in terms of that. I'd just like to answer one question. You know, we talk about smart ports. So for me, what is a smart port? A smart port integrates digital connected and automated technologies into port infrastructure and operations. So we talk about Internet of Things, big data, automation, digital twins, etc. So those are all components, but we need to have a base. And on that base, we need to optimize safety. Obviously, that's got to be a key priority. Reduce costs. And then the third thing is sustainability. So I'd like to just touch very briefly in terms of sustainability. As ports, we are significant energy consumers, and we are a big source of emissions. And I think that by the pure location of the port, we are involved in sensitive marine and urban ecosystems. And I think as port users and port facilitators, we have an obligation and definitely need to consider what we do to our environment. So in terms of emissions and air pollution, whether it be from ships, trucks, equipment, we need to be very cognizant of our damage to the environment. The other one is energy consumption and inefficiencies. Whether it's your equipment that's idling, we need to understand what are those energy consumptions for each bit of equipment. And then obviously the noise and dust pollution we need to be cognizant of. And then obviously port location in terms of resilience and climate risks. I think we also need to understand where the ports are located. If I think back to 2021, We had Cyclone Taukte, which had a huge impact on Gujarat, particularly with the Pipavav port. We need to have the ability to switch from one port to another port. And then finally, we under a lot of pressure from community and other stakeholders with changing regulations and increasing regulatory reporting, whether it's about carbon ceilings, emissions monitoring, and of course there's always a societal expectation as well. So as Pipavav, we're looking at our global objective is to be net zero by 2040, slightly ahead of when the rest of the world is looking at it. Some of the initiatives we're looking at the moment is we've developed a 1,000 kilowatt solar farm. We've also signed a couple of MOUs for the ecosystem on green hydrogen. And then, of course, we've just started our expansion project for new liquid berth, which is a 3,500 crore investment. How does that come to green? We already see we are using rail capacity. Almost all our LPG at the moment is being used through rail. And we will be connected to the very vital Kandla-Gorakhpur pipeline, again, which is a great initiative. And then just coming back to digital technologies and unlocking the value. I think for us, predictability in terms of planning is critical. You know, at the moment, if a vessel comes in, I have enough data on that vessel to say that this vessel will come in, I expect that it will be there for 7 hours, and I expect that I will get a CMPH of 30 moves per hour, and I'm able to get that to a 98% accuracy. The second thing is we have sensors connected to all our cranes, RTGs and RMGCs. How does that help? Not only does it give me insight in terms of what my equipment is actually doing, but it also gives me insight in terms of it measures vibration, it measures temperature, and it gives me the unique insight to look at each bit of equipment and say that this crane has the potential that it could break down in the next 4 to 10 hours. So it moves us from a reactive maintenance point of view to be more proactive and take actions before they become necessary. The other one is demand forecasting. We have built into our big data historic analysis in terms of what moves into the gate, what moves out of the gate, what moves into ICDs. We're able to look at these, and I think one of my colleagues spoke earlier. That's also a good initiative. What that allows us to do is smooth those peaks and troughs as well. And then also in terms of connected IoT, again, I spoke a little bit about telematics in terms of engine hours. The other thing is on charging of electrical equipment. So it gives us then insight is when these equipments are not working, how can we charge them at peak or non-peak capacities? And then finally, I just want to finish off just by saying that all of this is great, but we need it to be interconnected. So whilst we have port community systems, and I think the Indian Ports Association is the backbone of paperless technology, I think unfortunately there's a little bit of a silo effect. So for a specific port, that information is specifically available, but it's not available to all parties. And I'd really like to see a future of where something happens in Mundra, for example, where a vessel is delayed, and I can see it in Pipavav, and I can measure the impact on what that's going to do for my operations. And when we get to that state, I think as an ecosystem, we'll really be on a good wicket to be able to move forward. So just as my closing remark, I'd just like to say that we need to build resilient, climate-ready ports, and I think this will really shape our next era of trade. Thank you.
Thank you, Clint. I think points that Clint really highlighted upon is the requirement to become responsive rather than reactive. How do we respond to a situation rather than wait for that critical issue to happen and then react to it? And that can only be done through big data analytics, analysis of the huge amounts of data that's being generated on a regular basis in ports, and also through capturing that data at the relevant points which will look at, as he briefly pointed out, even on telematics or maybe on equipment repair that is required, on a critical failure that is maybe going to happen, and even in terms of sustainability that he pointed out, in terms of an emission or a hazardous gas like a sulfuric acid or a methane emission that has just started. And my IoT point of contact is immediately sensing it and sending that critical alert for me to be responsive and break it down to what are the mitigating steps that I can take. One of the most important points that he also highlighted is the interoperability and interconnectedness of information. Now, when we are analyzing big data, a very important part of it is also to be able to make sense of it and also make sense as a whole ecosystem. And therefore, the way forward eventually, as he has said, is a tomorrow where each of the ports are aware of what is the best option that is emanating based on a dynamic evaluation of the changing parameters. Now, when we talk about automation, digitalization, IoT, data analytics, all of it makes sense on a base of artificial intelligence. Unless and until we can have a predictive or a generative response, we wouldn't be able to make sense of all these separate data points that would be generated in millions of units. And therefore, the base of it, the structure on which all of this will be eventually put, is artificial intelligence. Now, our next speaker has experience both in government as well as now he has been with the private sector for a fairly long period of time, looking at projects, big ticket projects, which of course harness the benefits that automation and AI bring. I'd like Sureshji to briefly now deal upon how does he see artificial intelligence unlocking all the potential that our previous speakers have briefly dwelt upon, and how does he see AI being one of the most important game changers going forward for the Indian ports ecosystem and the Indian ports and shipping sector.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected Chairman, sir, respected Deputy Chairman, fellow panelists, and dear friends. I do not know whether it is an advantage or a disadvantage being the seventh speaker from among such variety of professionals that have addressed us today. I had come prepared with a fairly large amount of information and data, but much of it has already been exposed. So when I speak, if you find repetitions, kindly pardon me. In fact, AI has already been spoken about fairly extensively, right from the chairman's address, right to Rahulji and my friend and colleague from Adani. So I would like to just put all these things together by trying to understand what is the context in which today that we are talking about smart ports. Everybody talks about smart ports, but why are we talking about it? We are talking about it because today, in terms of volume, the ports move 80% of the world's cargo. And it is a significant contributor to GDP and employment. By 2050, in another 25 years, cargo volumes are expected to go up by 50%. And as we have seen in the recent past, the diversification of supplier base, the buffer inventory reduction, and the reconfiguration of the supply chains is happening at a frenetic pace. And this is going to increase more dramatically over the coming years. So there is a need for transformation. And why this transformation? Because it has been estimated that globally, 35% of the world's ports are still not digitized or are only partially digitized. And it has been estimated by the World Bank that inefficient port operations increase global trade by 10 to 15%, which creates significant barriers to economic competitiveness, particularly to emerging economies. Now, we have all been speaking about smart ports. And what are these smart ports? There have been many definitions coming out, but essentially, a smart port is one which combines technology with collection and distribution of data and information to manage operations both inside and outside the port seamlessly. And this information is shared with operators, the port community, and all the stakeholders. And how does it help us? It aids the port, for instance, in optimizing port-related processes such as berthing, loading, unloading, stowage, etc. Logistics companies are helped in the speeding up of transit response time for goods through port and operations. Businesses are able to provide on-demand services thanks to big data analysis. And the consumers, ultimately we all work for our consumers. And how does he get helped? He is facilitated through cheaper and faster availability of goods. Now, what are the essential ingredients of a smart port? The essential ingredients of a smart port are two. One is cutting-edge technological advancements, and as we were talking about, the transformational pillars of automation, digitization, AI, Internet of Things, and blockchain technology. Here I would like to share with you experiences of DP World in these various aspects, because we have been in the process of building smarter ports all over the world. To specifically talk about technological advancements, we have put in place what is called the box bay, which is a high bay container storage system which is under pilot operation in Busan in South Korea. Now, what does this box bay technology entail? It entails tripling the yard capacity and also reduces the ineffective movements by about 90%. It is a 11 high container yard management system, which of course is capital intensive, but at the same time, it is sustainable because it is fully electricity driven with solar roof panels. A demo unit of that can be seen in our Jablali unit. And it also improves safety because it reduces errors. And the most important part of it is that it is real time. It even reduces the movement of trucks by about 20%. Similarly, initiative being focused on by Deendayal Port Authority, I feel has got tremendous potential in gated community service, which is a MagRail service which is going to happen. It has got tremendous potential to replace even what my friend was talking about, the ITVs within a system, within the port community, gated community system. The MagRail is going to be a technology for the future for sure. Talking about the transformational pillars, we have already talked about automation. Let me give you an experience of what DP World has done. As you know, when the ships are getting bigger, the cranes also get bigger. The cranes getting bigger has got a deleterious effect on operators. So we have put in place something what is called remote operators. I'm sure you have also done it in your port. So these remote operators have two advantages. One is that it minimizes errors. And the second thing is that it promotes safety. And the third and most important thing is that it reduces operator fatigue. So this is one of DP World's initiatives in automation. When we talk about AI and data analysis tools, we have put in place annually. The digital twins can gather data for better monitoring, planning, and safety management within the ports. In the port of Rotterdam, for instance, the digital twin technology offers 24/7 real-time sharing of port information activities, as well as optimizing vessel berthing schedules and cutting delays. The maritime industry faces inefficiencies due to poor data sharing among users, the shipping terminals as well as vessels. The lack of collaboration, we spoke about it, the lack of collaboration on supply chain information, terminal performance, and accurate ETAs leads to operational delays and suboptimal coordination. The Internet of Things, we expect, will connect various port assets and systems as well as seamlessly benefit all the stakeholders. We were talking about smart ports. Smart ports do not end with just automation or AI or Internet of Things or blockchain technology. It also extends to what we call sustainable ports. In this, the contribution of DP World the world over is something which I would like to place before the audience today. We all know that ports contribute nearly 3 to 5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. As far as DP World is concerned, to develop green fuels for maritime trade, it has tied up on a strategic partnership with Maersk Moller Center for Zero Carbon Shipping to research and implement practical ways to manufacture alternate fuels such as green ammonia on a larger scale while ensuring safety. As far as vessels of the future are concerned, DP World's Unifeeder has signed a long-term time charter with a German ship-owning group to build and manage 2 new methanol-capable container feeder vessels, which will be delivered in 2026 and will be deployed in the European network to test performance. We are also on an agreement with them. Once the performance has been tested, we will go on to manufacture many more of them. In parallel, while these are being developed, we continue to improve the fuel efficiency of the existing fleet deployed and increase the proportion of biofuels in our fleet of conventional vessels. I assure you that DP World is completely committed to building the ports for tomorrow, which will expedite the transition to smart, secure, and sustainable ports. You will see this happening in Tuna Tekra, I can assure you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suresh. He has briefly dwelt upon the use cases that are in place today, be it the intelligent container management using automation and AI that is afoot, or be it intelligent fleet management, be it bringing sustainability through harnessing and leveraging automation and intelligent data collection, or be it the various initiatives that are being taken in the terminals world over. Now we have had the good fortune of listening to industry use cases from industry experts. But we all know that a major part of this evolution, the journey that we are undertaking in arriving at smart ports, in arriving at what we understand in this journey of smart ports, is through R&D, is through more and more research, is through how we take that whole thing that is being done and further develop it for what we would do tomorrow in better harnessing all the tools that we have. For that, the leading role is being played by academia. Today, we have a representative from academia, and now, as my next panelist, I would request Professor Bande to briefly dwell upon what is the way forward for smart ports and how does he see this ecosystem evolving in terms of newer initiatives, in terms of new things that are being brought in and will be thereafter utilized by the port and shipping ecosystem.
Good morning, Chairman Sir, Deputy Chairman Sir, and all the esteemed panel members. Thank you so much for having me as part of this discussion. As far as smart ports are concerned, I think we have heard from different members of the industry. The moot point over here is, yes, these are things which are being done by different members, but how do we actually go about making our current ports into smart ports? That ends up being a major problem. As the chairman did point out, Mr. Deendayal sir, that yes, there is a huge gap between what is the current state and what is the desired state. Ports and the equipment over there are a capital intensive investment. Normally, when a berth is built, we expect a lifespan of roughly 50 years, and for equipment, we are expecting a lifespan of roughly 25 years. However, during this period, a dramatic advancements in terms of construction of vessels, in terms of increase in size of vessels, happens at a much faster pace. The resultant is that the ports nowadays, the berths which were envisaged and effective 10 years back, have suddenly become redundant. This directly has a direct impact as far as the economic revenues of the ports are concerned. One way to overcome this is where smart port technology or smart technology in terms of port operations comes in handy. One of the first ways in which smart technology can come in handy is by establishing what is referred to as Vessel Traffic Information and Management System, or often referred to as VTIMS for short. What basically is VTIMS? It can be considered like the central nervous system of the port. It is a place, it has got 4 major components. First and foremost is what is referred to as the surveillance system. Now, what in surveillance system, we have the marine radars, which tracks movement of all the vessels in the port. Like how we have IoT on equipment, on board ships we have an instrument what is referred to as AIS, or Automated Identification System. This system gives us real-time movement of all the marine craft which are prevalent in the port at any given stage. And of course, besides that, we can have visual monitoring in terms of CCTV camera to monitor the approach, both the approaches and the berth situation. Additional thing we do have as far as the VTIS is concerned is in terms of communication. By communication here, what we are referring to is not only with other crafts in the port, but also with pilots and all interested parties. We talk about data analysis and data processing. VTIS or VTMIS does get in a huge amount of data. The type of data what I'm referring to is A, obviously, it is the location of the ships, B, the precise movement of the ships, and the information fed in from the pilots with regards to the port log movements. D, then information from the IoT. That is where your cargo operations come in play. We are getting real-time data with IoT so that at any given stage, we are precisely aware of which vessel is in what stage as far as cargo operations are concerned. In addition to that, we also can have data with regards to weather monitoring and the status of currents, because these data play a vital role as far as your vessel planning is concerned, as well as pilot allocation is concerned. When it comes to ports like Kandla, where we have a huge range of 5 meters, current plays a substantial role as far as port planning and vessel scheduling is concerned. All this data, of course, can be checked in and bundled out to give us precise information, guys. And of course, as my colleagues have rightly pointed out, route optimization and collision avoidance are some of the features which can be employed. So, Port of Rotterdam and Singapore does tend to do that as far as the VTIMS is concerned. Okay. When it comes to information with regards to port operations, okay, or the information which the VTIMS receives, AIS is a very powerful tool and which is utilized by a lot of VTIMS as far as safety of navigation is concerned. In our ports, we do tend to have what are referred to as aids to navigation. Now, conventionally, aids to navigation were consisted of buoys and lighthouses and landmarks, which were there for the safety of operation of the navigators. When we have ports like Deendayal port, where we tend to have very strong currents with a huge tidal range, securing or holding these as aids to navigation does become extremely challenging. A solution to that is in terms of virtual aids to navigation. Now, what is virtual aids to navigation? It is nothing, there are different ways we can have virtual aids to navigation, or as ILA, the International Association of Maritime Navigation Marks calls it, we can have three types. One is which is real buoys with AIS capability. Second one is we can have what is referred to as synthetic buoys. That is, we have existing infrastructure where we have the buoys, but we do not have, we do not have AIS capabilities. Third is what is referred to as, so if we do not have AIS capabilities, then we do have the provision of installing, providing them remote information as far as these buoys are concerned. Third is what we have is virtual AIs or virtual ATONs, wherein you can completely provide remote location sensing of these equipment without having physical need to install these buoys. This information can then be displayed on your relevant navigational charts. Because nowadays, remember, all ships have got what is referred to as EGDIS. EGDIS, as for those of you all who are not from the maritime trade, EGDIS stands for Electronic Chart Display and Information System. The conventional way of plotting positions and navigating the ships was by means of paper charts. These have been done away now, and as a matter of fact, even the printing authority has said that with effect from 2028, they are not going to print any more paper charts. So it's all digitized now, so that the navigator does tend to have them. And that is where the virtual ATONs can come in extremely handy. Next, let's talk of weather observations and current monitoring systems. There are different current monitoring systems in place, and obviously weather observation systems. Although we talk of ports being operationalized 24/7, 365 days a year, there are several adverse weather situations where we do tend to have downtime. Having real-time data with regards to weather is going to help us definitely ensure that our downtime is kept to minimum. Currently, what generally tends to happen is that whenever we talk of downtime and the recovery, it is more subjective and it is more individual based. To eliminate this gray area and to have a better transparency, that is why our weather observations and also our current monitoring systems will come in handy. Of course, the other aid which can be provided to the pilots is with regards to your portable pilot units. Now, these portable pilot units are similar to the EGDIS, but with the added advantage is that because they will be directly in link with VTIMS, the pilot who's the final decision maker and who's responsible for safe movement of vessels and berthing operations will have real-time data, both in sense of current as well as weather observations. Also, remember that it can also be used as far as for maintenance of your port logs. You can have digitized information. So all port assets which are there, it's in terms of tugs, in terms of mooring boats, in terms of pilot vessels, can be readily deployed, and you can have real-time information for optimum utilization as far as mooring crafts are concerned. Next, one of the things which Deendayal sir did mention is with regards to capacity building. Whenever a pilot berths a vessel at a port, what we are talking of is a case of controlled elision. Ports are designed to take a certain amount of displacement and momentum whenever a vessel comes in contact. There are speed limitations, obviously, which is a direct result of momentum. If we want to increase the size of vessels coming into the port, we do have to make sure that we do not harm our port assets. A way forward to that is what can be in terms of advanced docking systems. So utilizing the existing assets just by means of advanced docking systems, we can work towards bringing in larger vessels and still continuing to be a viable solution as far as port capacities are concerned. Last but not the least, as my panelists have pointed out, we do have to be a sustainable port. A smart port has not being sustainable is definitely not a thing. In this respect, I would like to point out some of the studies which we did in our ports. Okay, one of the main studies what we did was there were regular utilization of crafts, and both while approaching the vessel for berthing and even post operations, the craft used to run at full speed. We just advise them to come down to your minimum operational speed. And just by doing that over a period of 1 year, we observed a fuel savings of roughly 5 to 7%, guys. And when we talk of fuel savings of 5 to 7%, obviously we are definitely talking in terms of corresponding reduction in our carbon footprint, helping us go green. Chairman, sir, you have also pointed out that the port has got great approval as far as hydrogen production is concerned. So may I suggest another thing which a port policy which Port of Rotterdam and Los Angeles have implemented is what is referred to as cold iron policy. The policy effectively is that whenever a vessel comes into port, instead of using her local onboard power generation system, to use the shore power generation system. To give you a classic example, on an average, a ship has a generating capacity of 450 kilowatts, burning a fuel of roughly 2 tons. As we all know, efficiency of ICE engines is at best 70%. So even though they do take green measures like scrubbing and the use of low sulfur fuels, it still does emit a certain amount of gases. Even the scrubbing tars which are there, the effluent water does go into our marine environment and thereby affecting the ecosystem. So if we do take the initiative of providing a green port, I mean by providing shore power, I think it will be definitely a positive way forward. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, we are ready to take. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Professor has very nicely discussed on using technology to further leverage the vessel traffic information and management system. And let me also inform him that in terms of shore-to-ship power, 2 of the eastern ports have already undergone a pilot study where they have installed the necessary shore-to-ship power infrastructure. And DG Shipping has also notified the standards that are going to be required to retrofit the vessels to utilize such shore-to-power systems. And as I see it, that in the near future, we will be expanding the footprint of shore-to-power infrastructure. And very soon, all the ships, all the vessels plying on the Indian coasts, be it for EXIM trade or be it for coastal shipping, shall be utilizing shore-to-ship power systems. We have been a smart panel. We started at about 11:45 and we had 60 minutes. So we still have about 5 to 7 minutes. And I now throw the panel to the house. I open the house to take any questions. We may be able to take a couple of questions at max. After that, we'll have a concluding remark because the overall time limit that we have had is 80 minutes. So we have approximately done about 57 minutes as I speak. So now I'll throw open the house for any questions that our esteemed audience. Yes, I have one there. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. I just have one question related to the operation and logistics of the port. How does this emerging technologies of IoT, digital twin, AI intelligence actually integrate and enhance the collaboration between the shipping lines, the port operators, and the cargo tracking, and the customs?
Maybe I'll request Clint to, since Sujal is not with us, one of the operations experts.
That's a good question. So at the moment, I think a lot of the data we actually utilizing for ourselves. Again, I spoke about it earlier. I think when we really talk about smart port systems, it's being able to share the data that we have, both from the port's perspective and also from the customer's perspective. So until we get to that point, we're not going to improve the whole ecosystem. So for me, we have to share what the port has, the information that we have, all the data that we have on the shipping lines, We need to be a little bit sensitive in terms of what we share, obviously because of competition. But we need to be able to share that data, and the customers need to be able to share their data with us as well. Did that answer your question?
Actually collaborate between the customs and the shipping lines to actually reduce the downtimes of the ships coming in and out of the port?
Okay, I'll give you a live example. So, for example, I have a ship that's coming in, and based on my data that I have, I can tell you accurately that vessel, how long that vessel will take. I can tell you what the previous history is in terms of what the clearance modes are. I can tell you how long each container stayed historically in the port. And by using that data, I can then stage my stacking area to that information. We can link that to customs. We can link it to customer information with customs. Customs will also have information in their database in terms of which customers pre-clear, which customers have some issue with clearance. And by able to do that, we can then really make the port much more efficient.
Thank you, Clint. Thank you for the question. If we have any, we have one more question, please.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Shudipto. I represent Traffic Department of DPA. My question, I have two questions. One is both for Suresh Joseph, sir. One for the IRTS Suresh Joseph, sir, and one for the DP World Suresh Joseph, sir. I'll take the second question first. Sir, in 2017, UN Commission for International Trade Laws, they had adopted the MLET, or Model of Electronic Transferable Records. After that, we have seen a development of blockchain-based BLs. Like Maersk has launched TradeLens, MSC has launched WaveBL, IBM has created a platform like CargoX. How do you see Indian governance or Indian commercial documents, paper documents, getting migrated to electronic or blockchain-based digital documents? That is the first question, sir. Second one is India is a country having more than 7,800 kilometers of mainland coastline, 13 major ports, about 70 minor ports, and so many private ports. We are talking of smart ports, we are talking of AI. AI basically are data models. All the ports have separate bathymetry, separate wave models, separate tidal range, seasonal fluctuation of cargo, separate storage requirement, separate cargo baskets, and this is huge data. How do you foresee, instead of smart ports, India thinks about smart maritime nation using so much of big data?
As the moderator, let me just intervene and say that I'll break it into two parts. The first part, Suresh may actually operate on the intelligent BL that we are operating on. And the second part of interconnectedness, maybe I'll ask Sujal to really give us a brief view on what he has. Yeah.
I will deal with the question of the question that you asked about digitizing or making seamless data rather than having manuscripts and written documents. In fact, Indian Railways, you asked me as an IRTS officer, so I will respond to it as an IRTS officer, former IRTS officer. In fact, I do not know whether you recall the era when you had to stand before a booking clerk for your railway tickets. In fact, as a student, as a graduate student in Loyola College, Chennai, it used to be a kind of a nightmare. It used to be a kind of a nightmare wanting to book tickets to get back to Trivandrum, my hometown, during vacation time. You had to go before the booking clerk, who used to open a huge register. I don't know whether you have seen that size of register ever after that. And when he pulls down his glasses and tells you that there is no berth available, you had no means of cross-checking all that. But that is a thing of the past. Today, from the comfort of your home, whether you're traveling, whether you're about to go to bed, at whatever time of the day or night, you're able to seamlessly access the railway reservation system. It is the largest e-commerce site in the whole world. How has that happened? It is something which was developed by a small organization called the Center for Railway Information Systems. I don't know how many people who are present here today know about CRIS. They developed this system. And it has become so robust today that whether it is festival trains, whether it is short-changing trains, whether it is introducing new Vande Bharat trains, whatever it is, it can be done in a trice without too much of a hassle. So that was what was taken up first in the railways for digitization. It was a huge success. And then the second and the most daunting task that the railway faced was actually in automating the freight information system, what is called the FOIS, Freight Operating Information System. For those who remember, when you book a rake or a wagon in those days, you had to physically transmit these papers. After you, in fact, there was a system of placing an indent, which was manual. After the rake or wagon was allotted, you had to make the necessary booking. You had to transmit the papers physically for it to be taken delivery of at the destination. Things were very difficult. But today, things are very different. Every bit of booking on the Indian Railway today is done on a digitized platform. Automation has been the key word for the Indian Railways. So this is what Indian Railways have done. And see what the airports and the airlines have done. So digitization has been the watchword or the key word that we have followed over the last 20, 25 years. And we have been very successful. And here when we talk about ports, I think what we need to really do is how we transmit data, information seamlessly across users. This is what is lacking today. It is not that digitization is not available today. Digitization is available, but it is in silos. We need to transfer that and utilize that seamlessly, whether it is in terms of bringing your ships ashore, whether it is discharging cargo, whether it is sending it to the user. This kind of seamlessness has not happened because in government and in even private agencies, we work in silos. And there is a certain comfort for us in those kind of silos. But this comfort level has to be demolished. Otherwise, talking about smart ports is just going to be that much of hot air. I hope I've answered your question.
I think, in fact, you have answered the second part of his question in a sense of interconnectedness and interoperability of data. So I'd like, Sujal, if you can then address the first part of the question that he spoke about, intelligent bills of lading and how does he see the multifariousness of the major, non-major ports that we have in the huge coastline, and how do we go forward from this?
I think we all have seen readiness from the government to continually digitize and automate all the paper procedures. We've been seeing it left and right. So I think a year and a half ago, the way the custom identification of which container goes through which route, scanning here and there, it's improving. It's improving day by day, and they are, the government quarters are very much receptive to every stakeholder's objective, and then it goes through the sequence of approval and deliberation, but they do. And we are able to see that thing transforming very fast, nicely. I mean, a simple is an RMS. RMS, look at it now, it's a faceless. Exactly like you and me, our income tax inquiries or scrutinies are getting faceless. Very similar way. Yeah, these things are really weeding out a lot of paper procedure requirement and a lot of probably this paper or the table-to-table movement of an approval is actually translating into a cost and efficiency, which now we are able to weed it out. Your specific question, sir, on marine-related information on a wave model or the current information or probably the current sonar conditions at each port.
say DPA. DPA will be training a AI for the cargo basket of DPA, for the navigational channel of DPA, pathing predictability of DPA. But as India, so many ports, so many destinations, so many navigational challenges, can it be a singular, very big AI-based platform for making the India a smart maritime nation, rather a nation of many smart ports?
No, I think the need probably has not been projected as clearly as you articulated it. A individual cargo basket have got that clarity. A container cargo or a bulk cargo or a liquid cargo or a gas cargo, there are clear known thing. Of course, not on a coordinated, on a mapped condition. AI probably would add the layer above it for providing you either a flexibility or a cost advantage or a time advantage. That will be the next level of excellence. The first is this coordinated need. That coordinated need has not been projected. To be very candid, has not been projected so clearly. But I think this should be taken up in a next smart maritime kind of a concept rather than a smart port. I mean, it's not just the one port. You are trying to stitch complete one. Now, on the smaller things, the air cargo or the airports have got a better coordinated such information network available today. So there is no reason it cannot be done. It's already, there is an example available for us to see it, and it's just populating that data. There would be few policy things and regulatory things would come, that DGCA is pretty sharply regulated on how to measure, what equipment and all vis-a-vis. Each port has got a flexibility and freedom of checking and measuring in their own way, of course guided by DG shipping, of course. So I think, but it can be formulated into a system which is not done.
Sorry,
Thank you.
can I just jump in there for 2
sure,
seconds?
sure.
I think Suresh touched on it also very briefly, talking about silos, and I think that's what you were saying as well. We actually have all these different silos, but nothing connecting anything. So for me, I think a smart port is where material flow or cargo flow and information flow are all synchronized. AI plans it, IoT proves it, and then the port community system, which should be across all ports. All right. Once you got that in real time, that information then is shared across the base and across the whole logistics chains. And as customers, as customs, anyone can then go into the system and they can see exact visibility at each point along the way.
Thank you. I think some important steps have already been taken in terms of the initial idea of where we thought about a PCS, the first version. And now, as we have had multiple versionings of it, we are now at a stage where we are thinking of the one nation, one port process also. So we are trying to streamline the processes so that at least the major ports stage, we have a certain uniformity of data collection, analysis, transmission, and then we can probably, that is the thing that has to be expanded. And the one good thing about technology today is that the various programs, the various applications, it's very easy to make them talk to each other. Of course, there are regulatory issues, there are security issues, and there are also at times the communication issues to the APIs that are being adopted, which may not be compatible with multiple systems. But going forward, I don't see that that is going to be a problem. Insofar as the navigation and the shipping data is concerned, that is across the board, the dissemination is already being envisaged under the National Logistics Portal, what was the PCS 1X first. And so I think that going forward, that is something that we are going to have, where we are going to have separate customized information systems being mated across the nation to have a comprehensive AI-enabled port ecosystem. That is what probably the person asking the question was addressing. Maybe the last question I can take, I just have about 2 minutes if there's any questions. Yes, quickly, and I would request the response also to be really swift. So the last question, please.
There, Piche. Good afternoon. Sir, is there any API interface available on a public domain? Because whenever we see the digitization and the improvement of the process, whether it's a health or income tax or any other domain, wherever development is done, the open AI in public domain makes a lot of differences. So is that available for, because it is very essential for the new ERP development. What I understand is, as of now, the things are closely available to the concerned stakeholders, but I'm not sure whether it's available to the public or not.
Anybody would like to? Well, I would rather say that at this present state of development, we have not reached a stage where we can throw it at open source level, because we are still facing certain issues in terms of the security aspect of it, as also the interoperability part of it. A small example being that we have the National Logistics Portal. Now that is supposed to also mate with the Customs Portal, which is the IceGate portal, as also the Railway Portal, which is the FOIS. Now at the present stage of development, we are still facing certain issues in terms of ensuring that there is a seamless interchange of information. And once we receive that kind of robustness, strength in the system, maybe we can also make the architecture open source, throw it out to the market, so that it can also leverage the opportunity that lies in private entrepreneurship to further make it stronger and further therefore enable interconnectedness of across the board different kinds of programs.
So as of now, my point is there any source available where anybody wants to develop ERP, which is independent to the specific requirement in general, then because without data he cannot do anything. So by any way, if specifying the norms and securing the other requirements, then it will help a lot.
That's what I was mentioning, that you have to probably at this present stage, you would have to go to a specific port and have an NDS signed with it to be able to harness its data. It is not available on the public system in terms of what otherwise is only allowed to be in the public domain. There is no free access to the data of the ports.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That only shows that we have had a really engaging discussion where we have had such interesting inputs from the panelists here, and also such very deep and meaningful questions from the audience. Now I had 10 minutes for concluding remarks, but we are a smart panel, so we have 5 minutes left, so I'll wrap up in 5 minutes. Now, important point that we have gathered from our panel are the various use cases, the various opportunities, and how do we see forward. Now, one of the important parts that I have a responsibility of is also to illuminate our august audience, as also the panel, on what the government of India is doing. Now, as I said, that we started with what is a very rudimentary port communication system, PCS 1X, around 2016-17, where we thought that now the stage has come for digitalization of information, of taking the information to a paperless environment, and therefore making it more faster, more efficient, and more accurate. So today we have the present version is that of a pilot project of enterprise-based systems, the ERP systems being undertaken in 5 major ports, and that is at a fairly advanced level of completion, wherein we will have the SAP and an iPortman-based ecosystem of transacting all the data that moves in the port's ecosystem. Apart from that, the government is also looking at making the National Logistics Portal more robust, so that it can mate with both its government partner agencies as well as the systems of the private ports, the applications that the private ports have, so that we have more seamless movement of information across the ports and across the shipping ecosystem. In terms of international interventions, we know that we have the Maitri initiative under the India Middle East European corridor. That is the master application for international trade interface, wherein we are at the first phase, we are connecting Deendayal Port Authority and JNPA with Fujairah and Jebel Ali as we speak, so that we can have a seamless digital corridor wherein we dematerialize the compliance burden, and therefore we bring in a lot of efficiency, which becomes one common system and makes it much more faster, much more stringent in terms of its security, and yet it becomes very easy for the user to understand, and reduces the complexity of having to separately address 2 different regulatory territories. We are also looking at a lot of movement in terms of how do we automate our terminals, how do we bring in IoT interventions, how do we make our ports more smart in terms of capturing of that data, capturing of the huge amounts of volumes of data which is generated, and then operating data analytics through use of AI models. Now, what we have gathered today is that the journey is fairly difficult in terms of the challenges that it has thrown up. But we have embarked on it, and we have traveled quite a distance where we have, from the idea of mechanization, traveled to automation, then to capturing of data through Internet of Things, then to analyze the data that has been generated through generative and predictive AI models. We all know that it is not only smartness of equipment, smartness of applications, but also intelligent human resources. So one of the things that I would like to, for all of you to consider is that while we think of smart ports, it's not only smart applications, not only smart solutions, it is also smart operators. So how do we also emphasize on skilling our human resources? We as India are a capital intensive, we are a high population country, and regardless of how we conceive of our smart ports, human beings are going to play a very important part. So it is also important for us to maybe start thinking of how to skill our manpower to make it smart. Also, while we talk about smartness, it has a very important footprint in sustainability, that is use of better energy sources and better use of energy sources, as our panelists have also spoken. So how do we go forward in harnessing the newer sources of energy? Shore to ship is one of the examples. Having green fuel is and movement of ships through the green corridors is the other. And also increasing the renewable footprint in the day-to-day usage of and consumption of energy in the ports. In terms of the future looks very bright, and there is a need for collaboration and cooperation. In Asia, we have very intelligent and smart ports, maybe the terminals in Busan, the Tuas in Singapore. In Europe, as people spoke, we have terminals in Rotterdam, Antwerp, Hamburg. In South America, we have Santos, which is doing very well. We have Los Angeles in North America. Melbourne in Australia is coming up in a big way. So how do we collaborate, and how do we share the best practices to further develop the smart port ecosystem is something that we all have to think together. And I'm sure that while we do that, in the very near future, we will move from just-in-time to maybe completely automated equipment control, even automated tugs, dynamic flow of information and processing in terms of shipping movement, cargo movement. So the shipping part of it, the infrastructure part of it, the logistics part of it, the traffic part of it, and the fleet part shall all be made smart. I thank the very eminent panel that I had today, who were so forthcoming and had such valuable inputs for all of us. I'm sure that we all have a lot of food for thought that we are going to take with us. I also thank the very eminent audience for such an engaging session, and I'm sure that going forward, we will all be contributing our bit to make Indian ports and shipping sector a much more smart sector. I thank all of you once more. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir, for your valuable reflections on today's session. Friends, we will be now presenting a token of gratitude to our distinguished panelists. I would request Chairman, sir, to kindly do the honors. Let us be generous in expressing our gratitude through a big round of applause for our today's panelists. I would now request Chief Engineer Ravindra Reddy sir to present formal vote of thanks.
Respected Chairman Sir, Deputy Chairman Sir.
Ready. So I'll once again request all of you to participate in IMW India Maritime Week and during 27 to 30th, 31st of October. और वहाँ पे मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये होगी कि आप लोग अपना स्टॉल बुक करें, स्पॉन्सरशिप के बारे में भी थोड़ा सोचें और स्टॉल्स बुक करें और अपने बिजनेस मॉडल में शोकेस करें. वहाँ ग्लोबल ऑडियंस होगी तो उसके साथ अपनी information share करें. That will help you in networking and business development. Thank you.
Respected Chairman Sir, Deputy Chairman Sir, CVO Sir, and all HODs, senior officers. Today keynote addressed by Shri Rajkumar Benwell Sir, VC and CEO of Gujarat Maritime Board. Our respected panel member Shri Rahul Modi, Member National Shipping Board, Government of India. Shri Suresh Joseph, Vice President, PP&T, DP World, Kanla. Professor Captain Prabodh Bande, Thames, Pune. Shri Clint Carmichael, COO, APM Terminal, Pipavav Port. Shri Sujal Shah, CEO, Adani Port and SEZ dignitaries, stakeholders, port users, terminal operators, participants and colleagues and friends. On behalf of the organizing team, I sincerely thank each one of you for joining the panel discussions on Smart Ports Gateway to Prosperity. Your thoughts and experiences have helped us understand new way to use smart technologies for the growth of the progress of our ports. I would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Chairman Sir for his remarks realizing Prime Minister's vision for a self-reliant, Atmanirbhar and developed Viksit Bharat, strengthening India's position as a global maritime powerhouse, promoting investment, innovations and sustainability in the maritime sector, encouraging participation in the main India Maritime Week 2025 event in Mumbai. We are truly thankful to our panelists for sharing their valuable ideas on digital change, green logistics and innovation in port operations. Your words surely guide in bringing positive changes in maritime sector. A big thanks to our moderator, Deputy Chairman Sir, for leading the discussion so well and keeping it lively and interesting. Smart Ports Gateway to Prosperity. summarize the key topics and outcome from the discussions. Thanks to all participants for being so active and making this event in a great success. Today's discussions reminded us of our goals to make our ports smarter, cleaner, and more efficient for a better future. Smart Port Gateway of Prosperity does not refer to a single specific event, but rather to the overall development strategy of Indian maritime sector. Focused on modernization and trade, the concept is a part of the broader Viksit Bharat Vision 2047, which aims to make India is a developed nation through major infrastructure and economic initiatives. Thank you once again to everyone for your time, support and contribution. We look forward to work together for a strong and progressive maritime future. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Chairman DPA, I have the privilege in inviting all our guests to join for lunch, please. Thank you so much. Please join for lunch, please.